Welcome to another episode of From Page to Screen. Now tonight we have a very, very special episode for you. Not only do we have the first appearance of my partner, Annette, on her podcast, but Annette and I are actually talking to an actress called Brooke Lewis. Now check her out on the Internet Movie Database. She's a wonderful actress. I've listened to some other interviews of Brooke's and she is just brilliant. Such a wide, impressive personality. She's brilliant. I'd swap messages with Brooke, who keeps in touch with her fans on Twitter. So you will find her at Brooke Lewis. And I've also swapped lots of emails with her. So thankfully Brooke gave us the time of day and we actually had an hour to sit down and have a chat to Brooke over Skype. Towards the end of the 50-minute interview, I did have some Skype issues at my end, so a little bit of an echo kicks in. Hopefully that won't ruin the enjoyment. Brooke's audio was fine, it was mine, it was a little bit iffy, so apologies for that. But I didn't want to chop out huge sections of my own voice because it would have made the answers that Brooke gave seem a little bit unknown. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope that you enjoyed having Annette on the podcast as much as I did. So I'll bring on the interview. Let me introduce Brooke Lewis.
Hello.
Annette, I'm so glad you joined us. You vamped it out, girlfriend.
I did. I just apologise if I sneeze.
Oh, you're sick.
Uh-huh.
I'm so sorry. You know, it's allergies here. How's the weather there?
Typical October. It's not even October yet. Typical September weather. Cold, rainy, windy.
I say, yeah. Here it's like 90 degrees, so allergies are like crazy. But, okay, so are we still good? Can we do this? Do you still have time? I know it's late there for you.
We certainly do, yep.
Okay.
We
awesome.
certainly do.
I'm good for like 50 minutes if you guys are good with that. And then I have to get to another meeting. But I'm
Perfect.
so glad to finally talk to you.
I know we've swapped sort of Twitter messages for quite a while now.
I know. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the support.
You're more than welcome. This is Annette's first ever podcast as well.
So I've been told. That's why I kept telling Stuart, I'm like, she better vamp it out, find her vamp, and get on.
Now, and Annette, were you secretly getting rather happy and excited when the technical issues kicked in, or be honest?
I could not possibly comment on that one.
But you know what? This is so fantastic because it's me, and you know I'm here to support you back. So for your first time.
Oh, thank you.
It's very, very good. Well, I've spent sort of the day at work today not doing any work, and I was actually
What's
on...
new?
Yeah, exactly. Not much. And I was on one of your websites, Brooke. And it's...
One.
I was on MsVampy.net.
Miss Vampy.
And I only just discovered today that the episodes are actually on there.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that was, the original web series that I wrote and produced it all came to pass in 2008. And we launched it March of 2009, March 1st. And I knew, this is way before the webisodes and web series were even hot or popular. And there still is no major proven formula to make money or download or anything. And there will be, but I think it's still going to take a few more years. But at the time, I very much knew that I was doing this for many different purposes, not the purpose of having, paid downloads or making money with this show. I just wanted to get my Ms. Vampy out there, my character that I created. I wanted to see, after having a bit of a name in the horror genre at that point in time, if my fans would be receptive or if they would hate her when I took her in a very comedic direction. And it was like a big litmus test. It was like, okay, let's see, either I'm going to kill it or I'm going to fall flat on my face.
Well, looking at the first episode, you've definitely done really, really well. I was planning on watching the remaining episodes this evening, but we were sorting out Skype and having tea and watching the roast of Charlie Sheen, actually. I don't know whether you watched that or not, but it's very, very funny.
No, I didn't. I feel so sorry for that man I do and I don't. So I try to avoid the Hollywood gossip stuff,
He took it on the chin anyway. But Annette has, you've got daughters, haven't you, Annette? Do you want to sort of introduce your daughters? Because it's quite relevant to the Miss Vampy, which I shall educate you on.
Did you watch the original web series, or did you actually watch Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk?
It was the Tween Talk that I watched today.
Awesome. So yeah, so you know that was like a follow-up to my original web series, which was for horror. We had horror stars on, we were interviewing horror stars, and I was doing vignettes with vampirematch.com. And that's how it all came to pass. And it was such a huge success in horror that I got inspired to, take her in a bit of a different direction. So I'm so glad that you did watch Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk, because that's my heart and passion right now. And that's really what I'm committed to. And I really want to get that out to the entire international, fan base and world, that Ms. Vampy's up to really big things to be a positive role model to young women and young people.
So what are the ages of your daughters, Annette? Because it seems quite relevant.
Yeah, 18, 17, and 13.
Perfect. They are my perfect target audience. So please make them watch the show. Tell them Ms. Vampy sends her love, and that's who I'm reaching out to, or trying anyway.
How would you sell it to Annette? How would you say watch Tween Talk?
So if I were going to pitch it to a parent, which I need to have some practice on that too, because I'm actually now life coaching teen women and young adults, I would say that Annette, this is a comedic horror icon who chose to take her mini fame and move it into a very positive direction, who is inspired to be a role model to young women, and who is out there to be a stand and support young women with major issues that they face today, from body image to self-esteem to bullying to facing your fears, following your dreams, really to just support young women to find their inner voice and vamp it out, find their inner vamp, baby.
What's been the feedback from the children themselves? I mean, looking at the webisode that I watched today, which was the first one, they adored you.
Oh, thank you. My girls, and let me give a big shout out to all of them, all my cast of Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk. They were so amazing, and we took this very seriously. My incredible casting director, Allison Buck, who's one of my talent managers, when we sat down, when I came up with this idea and we sat down to do this, we really went, like balls to the wall with it. And we put, the breakdown out, and Allison cast it, and we had thousands of submissions from tween and teen girls. And we really had to be careful in narrowing it down. And then we had a whole, weekend of auditions, and then watched all the playbacks, and really, I had to go with my heart and soul when I cast it and chose my girls. And it was so important to me that we had a cast who really got it and understood that, and it's so funny because, in talking to them now and in hindsight, I ask, and they're very open and honest with me because we're very close. And like, I asked them, and it's actually on a show we did on Actors Entertainment, that like, what did you think, when you first heard that you were auditioning for a vampire talk show? And we were like, what, she's crazy. Like, why would we want to talk about, girl issues with a vampire? But not knowing who Ms. Vampy was, for the younger generation, because that's not my mainstream, that I don't have, the hugest mainstream following yet, or the young following yet. So we're building that. I mean, my fans are the horror genre. God bless you all. I love you to death. So it was like, they were like, well, how could she be a positive role model? And until they experienced it and saw where I was going with it, and how, taking a comedic character to lighten the mood can really help. I don't think that, and I was a teenage girl not too long ago, but, I don't think that teenage girls and college women really want to talk to a therapist per se, and I'm not talking about, I'm not a therapist, I'm not talking about deep rooted issues. I'm talking about the day-to-day stuff that women experience, and people in general experience. I hate to say just women or young women, and it's that day-to-day stuff that we are all confronted with, feeling insecure, not feeling good enough, not feeling strong enough or courageous enough to speak our minds or to say what we want to say. So, and making powerful choices. And so I think that to have a comedic character who's like a big sister, who's totally zany, over the top. I mean, look at Ms. Vampy. She's got big hair, tons of makeup. Her boobs are pushed up. She wears crazy clothes. She's like right out of like Jersey Shore, or Brooklyn, really. And it's like, I think that it lightens the whole vibe and energy. And I think that these girls really appreciate that. They want to have fun. They want to be playful. They want to have someone that's like a peer, not, a doctor or, someone like an authority figure, like looking down on them. They want to know that they can really be open and trust someone. And that's who Ms. Vampy is for them.
And it certainly comes across as that on the first webisode, because they opened up to you very, very quickly.
Thank you. And you know what? When you see it, Stuart, it just gets better and better and better. And I've had so many people say that, and I felt it intuitively. Like once we got in the groove, because there's 6 webisodes, and it's like a feature length. I mean, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. And once we got in the groove at about, I would say the third webisode, we were just all like so in sync and so on the same page, and the girls were like rocking it out together. And I'm just so proud of this. It's one of my most proud. I've made, feature films that were a couple $1 million budgets, but this is like my most proud piece ever.
I mean, today I was putting together some information for Annette, so something on paper, because I've done quite a lot of podcasts. This is Annette's first one. And once
I'm honored, Annette. I'm honored.
Oh, it was a nightmare getting you on this, wasn't it, Annette?
Yes.
kicking it straight back. She's actually strapped to a chair downstairs. No, she's not really.
Oh no, Annette! I didn't know you were kinky. Come on.
I think is Sarah still watching you, Annette?
Oh yeah.
Her 17-year-old daughter is giggling and watching Annette with a headset on downstairs.
That is too funny. Tell her I said hi.
Brooke says hi.
She
says hi back.
Bumpy says hi. It was so funny. We did, like I said, on Actors Entertainment, and Judith Jones, she's so great, and she's one of the hosts of the show, and she hosted our episode, and she's so talented and sweet, and she's from London, and it was so cute because she kept saying, Miss Vumpy, hello, Miss Vumpy, and we were it was so adorable. I'm like, oh, I love that. Maybe I should say it in like a Brooklyn accent.
You should give it a go. I read a lot of things that you'd based Miss Vampy on Marissa Tomei.
Of my cousin Vinny. I mean, I was so young as a little girl, and like that is a dream role. Like she deserved the Oscar for that one, and which is so rare to win an Oscar for comedy, and she just killed it. And I still look up to her, being ethnic, and she's not your typical Hollywood starlet, as beautiful as she is. And so she's always been an inspiration to me. And I think she's made some incredible choices in her career as an actress. And that character, I love it, love it, love it. Never stop.
And it does come out. I mean, I'd read about the Marissa Tomei sort of inspiration, and in watching the clip online today, it's like, yep, you nailed it. You've got it.
It makes me so happy. Thank you so much. I love it.
Very, very good. But I'm loving the Miss Vampy thing. As I was saying, I was putting some notes together for Annette, and I was looking at your filmography, and you've got some films that we'll talk about briefly that you've got coming out. But the Miss Vampy stuff just leapt out as something so special.
Thank you. And that means the world to me because it is so special in my heart. And as an actress and as a producer, and as I am getting a bit older as a woman in Hollywood, I just I feel kind of like been there, done that, have so much gratitude. I've had so much fun. I've done things that people will never get to do. And I am so blessed. However, at this point, I just want to make a difference. I just want to have something that's mine, that I created, that, touches the lives of others, and I hopefully every project, whether it be horror, whether it be my mobster movies, whether it be the sitcoms I've worked on, hopefully that happens in everything we do. But this is really special to me. So yeah, it's something that I feel has legs, and it's part of my brand. And if I never become, do any more studio movies or have a TV series, then I hope that my Ms. Vampy brand and shows will, expand and explode and teach young women, and teach everyone. I mean, it's young women. Since the show launched, I keep saying this in interviews. I'm doing so many radio interviews and stuff, and I have been contacted by so many gay teens, gay college students, just saying thank you, Ms. Vampy, for letting us know that it's okay to be who we are, and it's beauties within, and love yourself, and all these great messages. And it's like, I mean, if I can help young people be okay with who they are, find their inner voice, inner vamp, then I've done my mission.
I think you seem to be doing. If you're getting all these letters from fans, you definitely are helping them, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope so. I think like one step at a time, it's a whole interesting thing. You guys know this, and we all know the social networking stuff and the internet, and like, it's been really interesting. I mean, I've had tons of hits, especially on the teaser on YouTube, but it's pretty amazing how, big marketing companies and big production companies don't really want to get behind you, no matter how fabulous the product is or how much attention you have, until you have a million hits or 10 million hits, or so it's been a huge learning curve for me, I can tell you that, especially as a producer.
Is it headed in a direction you need it to head in? What, have you got a plan for Miss Vampy, or is it just going where life takes it?
Oh, I wish it was easy to just construct a plan and have everything go the way you want to, because I'm such a control freak over my life and career. Not anyone else, but over my life and career. And so far, it hasn't worked. So I am at the point where I'm trying not to control everything. I'm trying to trust it. I'm trying to trust that it's a good enough product that it will get into the right hands eventually. I mean, we're spearheading it and steering it that way. We are making a lot of headway on my feature film, which is the catalyst for me creating. I took my web series that made Ms. Vampy the horror icon in 0809, and then my partner Todd Tucker and and we got together with Jim Pasidi, my other partner, and Tamar Halpern, our writer, and we all wrote. I wrote, the treatment, the idea, the original idea, everything, and then together we all, over 2 years' time, went into development and really wrote and rewrote Vamp It Out, which is what inspired me, because we sat down, my partners and I, and said, well, what do we want to do with her? Do we want to keep her in horror? Do we want to go more mainstream? What do you want to do, Brooke? And all of our hearts were in the same direction going. We want to go more mainstream. We want to do something more family, Halloween fun, make her kind of like an even younger Elvira type. And that's what we did. So we did Vamp It Out. We've been in development for 2 years. I mean, we've got some amazing, I've got Todd Tucker's effects company, Illusion Industries, attached. I've got, we just signed on Bart Johnson, who's the good-looking dad in High School Musical, all you Disney fans out there. And that's, daughters probably know who he is. He's so handsome. And and we're pitching it. And I've got, obviously I can't say what companies, but I've got a couple of big companies that are interested. Our pitch is, it's a Halloween family movie with a TV spinoff, like a movie of the week. And it's Elvira meets the nanny meets the Cheetah Girls. So it's got music, it's got a band, it's got a lot. And, Ms. Vampy kind of fish out of water, saves the day. So that's my passion project. It's a several $1 million project, and it's been tough with the economy. So we're doing what we can, but we're taking meetings, we're attaching, we're packaging, we're developing, and it's all good. And in the interim, that's what inspired me to do the Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk, because when we were pitching it to some big production companies and studios and stuff like that, they wanted to know, they were like, well, they were very resistant, quite frankly. And they wanted to know, well, how are you going to take a horror icon like an Elvira? They called her like the modern day Elvira. And how are you going to prove that she's a positive role model and gives positive messages to young people? And no one would listen, no matter what I had, in the written copy, no matter what my pitches were. No, they didn't get it. So, a lot of times in Hollywood, you have to prove, you have to show. Nowadays, we know, with the internet, everything's visual and just, technology and digital, and everything's like, fast paced and prove it. So that's what inspired me. I had a really tough time in the beginning of the year, some health problems going on, and I had to have surgery. And then I was like, okay, I got to do something. And I got inspired, and I literally took out the last of my savings in my production company, and my partner Todd Tucker and I produced Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk to show what I'm up to, who she is now, and what I'm committed to doing. And I think it worked, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I have no idea.
I would hope it would work, 'cause I mean, I'm not a studio exec, but if I was, that first episode hooked me. It was a case of, yep, done. So, unfortunately for you, I'm not a studio executive. If I was,
I wish you were. If you know anyone in London, we'll take Ms. Vampy to London.
Definitely. I do know some short film producers from North Carolina, I believe, who I've had on the show before. Yeah.
Well, it takes time, and it's no easy game or task. And, for all you listeners out there, people, doesn't matter if you're in the UK or China or the US, like, it's, the creative industry is a huge lifelong commitment, and you have to be super committed, and you have to take chances, and you have to take risks, and you have to vamp it out, and you never know. We just never know. Listen, I started out on Broadway. I started out doing mobster features in New York. I started out doing sitcom work here in Los Angeles. Who knew that I would become a horror scream queen star? You just don't know. And for me, I choose to go, I embrace what comes, because life's hard enough, and I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in a realistic way. It's very challenging. And the older you get, it's more challenging. And you can't keep, and I'm working on this. I'm preaching to myself, because I'm really working on this with letting go, trying not to control everything, and trusting the universe, trusting, whatever you believe in, and kind of not fighting so much. Like I'm really into the whole, ask and just give in, and metaphysics, and power of now and all that. And I have to work on it every day. They talk about in The Astonishing Power of Emotions, they talk about, paddling upstream, and nothing you want. It's so hard to paddle upstream, and nothing that we truly want or need is actually upstream. It's downstream. It should be easy. It should be a flow. And that's what I'm kind of trying to commit to now, because I've dealt with too much, and it's affected my health. And, I think that life is short. You got to have a little fun.
Exactly. So you mentioned you were a life coach as well. Did this become something you were doing before Miss Vampy, or did Miss Vampy sort of nudge you in the direction of becoming a life coach? And what is a life coach? Well, I don't think we have any of these over here, do we, Annette?
Don't think so.
Life coaches? No.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for asking that question. It's a great question. Yeah, I've always been into metaphysics, and I've always, from moving, and on the East Coast, I think it's a little bit more like the UK, New York and Philadelphia. It's a little less metaphysical, spiritual, a little more simplified. And then you go out to the West Coast, and it's everything that you read about and see in movies, and everybody's like a hippie and eating, their wheatgrass and, superfoods. And I got way more open and into spirituality and all that kind of stuff, and self-help. And so I started taking classes years ago about power of the mind and, metaphysics and all that stuff. So I took a bunch of classes and really got interested in sort of, life coaching, trying to stay vibrating in a higher energy. And, I don't want to sound too crazy, because I'm not, but I have to, again, tell myself these things and convince myself that I know what I'm talking about. So so I had taken classes, so I knew a lot about coaching. I've had life coaches, when I was back East, I have no shame in talking about it. I think it's great to work on yourself and do self-improvement. So I've been to, I went to therapists when I was younger and stressed out or whatever. And when I got to Los Angeles, it was more about coaching, healing. So I experienced life coaches, and what they really are, they're not therapists. I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to be a therapist. I'm not a doctor, but what they are, and I guess I should say what we are now, because I am certified from the Life Purpose Institute, is we're like a support system. We are, and for me in particular, because I'm specializing in teens and young adults, I am like the buddy, the friend, the mentor, the support system that, again, same thing with the whole, and obviously got inspired by the Ms. Vampy show, is a lot of teens they've got problems, and they don't know how to deal with it. And they don't want to talk to a shrink. They don't want to talk to their parents. They don't want to talk to their older sisters. They want an objective source to support them. And it's really about helping and supporting people through issues, problems, just being a good ear for them and guiding them, like a guide in the right direction, and helping them find, goals, and just making powerful choices, so that, and taking a lot of exercises and steps and tools that take you in those directions, and being an honoring support system. It's very much about acknowledgement and honoring someone, and, really holding them in their highest good, and supporting them in being positive and doing good things. So to finish your question, I was not certified when I shot Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk. And I got to tell you, I was so in love with what I did, and with my relationship with my cast of girls, and I got so inspired that it was amazing. And I went, you know what, I want to explore this further. That was A. B, I'm very responsible, and I thought that it was the right thing to do to be an expert, if I'm going to continue in this direction and trying to be a role model for young people. And 3, to answer honestly too, after we launched the show, and I've got a great PR firm, Love You Bridge and Tunnel, and they were going out to talk shows and stuff like that, and 17 magazine, and a lot of the big publications, and they were pitching me, Ms. Vampy, the new role model for young people, and so the question would always be, well, what's her expertise? What are her credentials? Does she have a psych degree? And I actually have a degree in rhetoric and communications, which is speech communications from college. So I have a great background in languaging and interpersonal communication to begin with. But other than that, they wanted to know, like, what was my expertise? And so that was what put me over the edge. I was like, you know what? I never in a million years imagined, I have 2 degrees. Like, I never imagined going back to school at this age, at this point. But I got inspired, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I did. And I was in school most of this year, and I'm now certified.
Well done.
Thank you.
Do you ever have any issues with the children opening up? I mean, what sort of tips could you give to a parent to get their child to open up? Because I know, Annette, you probably testify, children don't always want to tell people things if there's something on their mind.
I would tell you parents to hire a life coach.
Seriously,
because they most likely won't open up to you. But if I had to give just advice, and again, I'm not a therapist, but I would say, treat your kids, and I don't mean this, in a disrespectful way in any way, but treat your kids like a friend. Allow them to speak their mind and open up to you. Don't judge them. And I would say and that's really the most important thing, really, again, honor and acknowledge them, and let them know all the positive things that they do and that you believe in, and uphold them, and, let them know that it's okay to have their own voice. Let them know that you love them, you're a parent, but you don't own them anymore. And I understand up until 18 it's different, but you really, kids, even at young age, I mean, I kind of knew who I was, what I wanted, what my destiny was very young. Now, I'm still trying to figure out life, but, I really knew my soul was always the same. And, kids want to have an opinion. They want to have a voice. They want their voice to count. So allow that.
Do you agree with all that, Annette? You okay with that lot?
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Just making sure you're still there, my dear.
No, I'm sat here nodding away.
Nodding away. Wonderful. And I had another question, and it's got out of my head now when Annette started to talk then. Is there a certain age of child that you find easier to work with, Brooke?
Absolutely. I love that question too, because I learned that, and it's funny because I actually thought it'd be easier to work with the younger ones. And after doing my show, I realized that it's the teens and college girls that are the easiest, that are most open, that are more evolved, that know who they are. And the tween girls, it's a lot tougher to and my girls are smart as can be on the show, but it was a little bit tougher to pull opinions and their voice out of them. So I would say for me, and with my coaching on the side and everything, it's going to be much more like teen and college age women.
Yeah. And do you ever find, around that sort of age, they're watching movies and they're watching DVDs. Do you ever find them crossing over into some of your other movies by accident? And seeing some of your horror work or anything like that?
Yes, and that's a tricky one. And I'm learning because, again, this is all very new in this direction, and, it's funny. One of my best girlfriends, we just had dinner over some skinny margaritas last week, and we were all talking very openly and honestly. And she said, what happens when, like, Ms. Vampy and Vamp It Out, the show, like, really explodes, and you become this huge, famous, Ms. Vampy role model icon to young women. She said, and then, like, the parents Google or IMDb you, and then there you are in your zombie makeup, or you're there in sexy lingerie with all your horror photo shoots over many years. And, and for a minute, it kind of gets you in the heart, and you're like, okay. And it was a great question. because I need to be able to answer that, and it's gonna come out, you know. And I've already gotten trashed on the internet. We all know everybody's so vocal on the internet because they're hiding behind screens. And believe me, I mean, I got, you know, there are people that don't get the whole Ms. Vampy thing, and people that said they were offended, parents that said they were offended because, you know, I have cleavage and my boobs pushed up and I wear a lot of makeup. And we addressed all of that, both in the film and in the web series, about inner beauty and about it's okay to wear sexy clothes, hair, and makeup, you know, as long as you're not trying to hide anything or cover up or not be self-aware, to express yourself, you know. But what I want to just say is that something that like I said, I've always been very true to who I am, you know, since I was young. And I've made some really powerful choices and I've made tons of mistakes. But, you know, I've never done nudity. And you guys have seen a couple of my films. I've never done nudity, which I don't judge. I have a lot of actress friends who have and do and would, and I don't care. That's cool for them. It's never been a choice for me. Never done nudity. I've never been killed in a horror film. So I don't know what kind of scream queen I am, you know. And I've done sex scenes in movies and stuff, you know, and I've had foul language, but you know what? Nowadays, to me, I mean, kids can go on the internet and there's such garbage and such offensive trash everywhere you look that I should be the least of anyone's problems, you know. And I think, again, it's about staying true to you, having integrity. I can't change the past, knowing that, moving forward into the future. Yes. Am I going to be more careful now? Absolutely. Like someone, in fact, funny enough, when we launched the web series, the Tween Talk show, someone in the industry here in Hollywood wanted to throw me a big, like, sort of, you know, launch party at a bar. And they were going to, you know, do the whole alcohol stuff and everything. And my PR firm and management firm at, you know, Bohemia Group, everybody was like, no way, you cannot. And it hadn't even occurred to me. I was so excited that people were, you know, excited enough about the show. They were throwing a launch party. And then I got it real quickly and they were 100% right. Thank goodness I have a great team. And they were like, no, Ms. Vampy cannot be around alcohol. You know, you can't be drinking martinis, you know, and skinny margaritas when you're doing a show for young people. And it's so true. So true. So, you know, whereas from my past doing mobster movies, and I mean, hell, when I did Tony and Tina's Wedding off Broadway in New York for 3 years, every night fans would stay, we'd sign autographs for hours, and then they would take us to the Bubble Lounge for champagne, and they wanted to hang out and party with us. And, you know, I was like a rock star and I was like 21 there in New York. But, you know, this is very different. And I'm so used to, you know, I go to the horror conventions and all fans want to do, and I sign autographs for 12 hours a day and take pictures with fans. And then at night they throw the parties and fans just want to, you know, buy you shots of Patron all night. And this is a whole different ballgame. Like, it was okay when I was doing mobster movies or even Broadway or, you know, that kind of stuff. But this is a very different thing, and I have to be very conscious and aware of it.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you're in movies like Slime City Massacre or Kinky Killers or something, once you get off the set, it's off the set then, isn't it? It's finished, your work's done for the day. With Miss Vampy, that definitely does spill over into real life, doesn't it? It's not just a 12-hour shift, is it?
That is such a great statement, Stuart, and it's really making me think, and I've been thinking about this, and you are correct. I mean, you really are correct. And now I have to be, you know, one of those, quote unquote, I don't consider myself a celebrity at all, but I have to be one of those like following the celebrities who do have to or choose to, you know, because, you know, everybody's out to bring you down. I hate to say that again, I'm not being negative, but it's the nature of Hollywood. And it's like everybody wants to bust you. They want to bring you down, especially when you're doing well, you know. And yeah, I had to be careful. I mean, this New Year's Eve, I was at a YRB magazine party at a mansion in the Hollywood Hills and having a blast, and everybody was drinking. And I had a very dear friend who's a very big paparazzi photographer here, and everybody, you know, we're hanging out, and he, you know, at the stroke of midnight, everybody, you know, kisses and wishes Happy New Year. And he grabbed me and smooch kissed me, and there were lights start flashing, and next thing you know, it's all over the internet that, you know, actress Brooke Lewis is seen making out with famous paparazzi. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, we were smooch kissed like dear friends do at midnight. Everyone does that. You know, I was smooch kissing my girlfriends. So it was like, oh my God, but they caught it and it's on the internet. So it's stuff like that now that I have to kind of I never used to have to look over my shoulder, and now I do. I have to even be careful. You guys, we tweet all the time. I get so scared and stuck in between because I'm kind of like, because I want to be me and I want to be, me is a pretty straightforward, honest person to begin with. But, I have so many horror fans that I don't want to neglect them either. And I'm not, 18. So, I mean, we're adults, we're responsible adults, but if some horror fans tweeting on Twitter and they're like, your butt's looking great, in those jeans the other day in that picture, like I want to write back and be like, oh, I'm so glad you like my big booty. You guys know, you see the tweets, and it's like, now I'm going, as I'm tweeting, I'm like, oh my God, like, what, I better be careful what I say. Like, what if like my teenage fans are reading that? But at the same time, I'm never going to be, I have to be me, and I am outspoken and I am edgy, and, I really, having nothing to do with the Ms. Vampy character and role model stuff. Like, I've never, and this too, gone out on Twitter and been like, F you and go F yourself. And, like, that's not my personality anyway. So like, I don't need to change that much, but I'm still going to be edgy. And I really believe that my fans and my clients and the young women and gay men that I inspire are going to be drawn and attracted to me because they're supposed to be. And the rest are going to go to someone else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't sort of hold back on Twitter, can you? Because you're teaching the children to be themselves and not hold back who they are. So you need to follow that advice as well, don't you?
Thank you. Just be you and be okay with who you are, and don't hurt other people, and be responsible, make quality choices, make powerful choices, especially don't hurt other people. I can't vocalize that enough. I know it firsthand. I have been cyberbullied, if you want to call it bullying, like nobody's business, since I became a little bit known in the horror genre and online, and I have a strong online presence, and I get trashed left and right. And it's like, and thank you all the listeners and fans out there who support me, and all the beautiful messages I get and beautiful emails I get and beautiful fan mail I get. I appreciate it so much. But for every, 10 positive messages, I get some negative from somebody that doesn't know me, that thinks they do because of, online, and it's not true. And it's like, but I get that one person, and that's what sticks in your head, the negative, and I have to fight that. And I can't even imagine these kids who are getting like cyberbullied right now, and how huge this is, and to be mature enough and strong enough and love yourself enough and know who you are enough to be able to withstand it and be able to fight back, or be able to ignore it, that's really huge.
I mean, also, Annette, do you think that it's easy for an adult to know how to deal with someone being negative towards you? Do you think it's a lot harder for a child? They don't have the defenses yet, do they?
No, of course, they haven't built the wall up, have they?
No.
Against the hurt.
I agree. It's so sad. And that's what a life coach would be like, to be able to hold the hand, literally and figuratively, of a teen or a gay college student, who is being bullied, who's confused, who's about to commit suicide because, they're being tortured at school, to be able to hold the hand of someone like that and say, I am here for you. I'm here to support you. You're going to be okay. Let's figure out how we can walk through this, and allow them to make those choices. That's a great feeling.
I mean, you've got a lot of people that look up to you, Brooke, sort of life coach sort of role. Have you got someone that you can go to and tell your problems to as well?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm therapized every which way to Tuesday. Are you kidding? I would not, in this crazy industry that I'm in, and living in Hollywood, and, doing what I do, and dealing with my bashing on the internet, are you kidding me? I have one of my best friends, Marilyn Aloria. She's a famous psychic medium. I've got Karen Abrams, who is my theta healer and my therapist. She's amazing. I have got, on Twitter, I don't know if you guys know Kimberly Rackley. She's like my angel on Twitter. She's a healer, a psychic, a theta healer. She does it all. We're working together actually on a writing project, but I can't say what. I've got Joe Argazzi is one of my life coaches. I mean, I've got them all because I need it. Because you know what? Truth be told, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've been through, I have a lot of challenges that I work through and a lot of insecurities. And what's the most beautiful part of this whole Ms. Vampy show with these girls is that it's taught me so much about myself. And I am like, okay, watch it, Brooke. Because when I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, my ass looks fat today in these jeans, and then I've got these 16-year-old girls who are looking up to me, who are coming to me saying the same, like, I feel fat. I feel, I don't feel pretty today. I can no longer be a hypocrite. And I have to bite my tongue and go, whoa, watch it, Brooke. Watch how you talk to yourself. Watch your inner voice. Stop putting yourself down. Stop being so insecure, because I can't be a hypocrite.
So you need to follow your own advice, don't you?
Yep. And it ain't easy. That's why I need life coaches and theta healers.
I'd sort of find it similar as well. I find it very, very easy to solve everybody else's problems and tell them what they should do, not in a bossy way, just in a, this is how you fix this problem. I find it very hard to follow my own advice for my own life. So
yeah. Do you guys ever talk to therapists or anyone, any role models for you?
No. What about you, Annette?
You?
She's doomed. Annette, you're doomed.
Dr. Stewart. Dr. Stewart. We're going to tweet from now on. Dr. Stewart.
Have you had adults watching the Tween Talk as well? I mean, I would think they would get as much out of it as the teenagers would, to be honest.
Right? Can I tell you? I think I've gotten more fan mail from adults than teenagers. Well, A, because it's my fan base already, but B, women, like my girlfriends, women in their 30s, absolutely love it. They're like, that's so true. That's so true. That's so true. Because women, people grow up, but there's always an inner child inside. You're never fully grown, And so I've had a ton of adults, and I have, of course, all my, guy fans, my fanboys and guy fans from horror. Thank you. I love you all. They're the best. They're like, you know what? Ms. Vampy can teen talk all you want, but she's still hot. I'm like, all right, we got eye candy for the dad.
Brilliant.
It's a family show.
Have you taken Miss Vampy to any of the conventions?
I did, not lately, and we will again, but again, it's about building that right fan base and going to the right conventions. But I did when she first launched it was the beginning. Okay, so 2009 we launched her, and then we were doing a lot of sort of live appearances and stuff. And I'll tell you, one we did was Horror Hound in Indianapolis last year in 2010, about a year and a half ago. That was insane. I could not believe how many fans that I had, and adults, kids, it didn't matter. And that's again before Tween Talk and before she was still in the horror genre. But it was amazing. It was pretty crazy. And the funniest part, and this is something that I always paid attention to, I had more teenage boys coming up to me, grabbing my butt, trying to kiss me, telling me to bite them. Bite me here, bite my neck. But I'm like, how old are you? And I'll never forget the one group. There were like 4 boys. They were between 11 and 14. And they were like, attached at my hip the whole convention. And they were just like, Ms. Vampy, we're in love with you. Ms. Vampy, bite me here, bite me here. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you little perverts. Like, you're 11 to 14. I was like, what? But, teenage boys, testosterone, hey.
How on earth do you deal with that? You just run off, I think. No?
I was laughing. What am I going to do? I took pictures with them all weekend. They were adorable. And, listen, I feel like this for an old gal, I'm pretty lucky that I have 11-year-old boys chasing me.
Yep. So what are your plans for the remainder of the year? We're sort of into so many weeks till Christmas now, aren't we?
We do. I got to tell you right now, and you guys, I'm so glad that Skype finally worked and we pulled this off today, because I am on like a craze. Being a scream queen, being in the genre, it's horror season right now. It starts around the last week in September and goes through mid-November for me. It is off the chain. I can't even imagine what the big horror celebrities deal with, because for me on this level, even it's crazy. So I'm so blessed. Almost every night I've got some opening party, red carpet event to go to. I have radio station interviews every day, magazine interviews every day. I'm on a press junket like nobody's business for Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk. And like I said, we're pitching it. So also, what else? I've got Roger Scheck, young director Roger Scheck, who directed Nobody Loves Alice. We did a movie called Sprinkles. It's a short film, and I hadn't done shorts in a long time. We did it at the beginning of 2010, and it's pretty amazing. And I'm so lucky. Thank you. We've been in so many film festivals, and I won a huge award recently at Action on Film International Film Festival. I won the Wright Brothers Award of Excellence in Film for my performance and production in Sprinkles. It's a psychological thriller, like dark drama, and I play the lead, and it's one of the best roles I've ever played, and it's amazing. And because it's got that thriller component, we were very blessed to get into some of the big horror festivals too. So thank you, Denise Gossett and Shriek Fest. We are premiering there next Sunday. Then I go on the 14th, we screen at, thank you, Chad Freeman, at Polygrind, the Grindhouse Festival in Las Vegas. And we're waiting on a couple more, so I'll know. I may have to travel. I'm traveling like every single weekend through November. I have to be in Vegas, Indiana. It's a little crazy. And then what else do we have? We have the Big Bear Horror Film Festival red carpet opening, Horror 5 Film Festival next Tuesday. And I love, shout out to those guys. They're my dear friends. I support them. They always support my career. We had Dahmer versus Gacy there last year. Slime City Massacre, which Greg Lamberson's film, totally twisted way of this happening, because it's usually the total opposite. But because we did so well in sales through Media Blaster so quickly when the DVD was released in May, we got a new digital limited theatrical release. So we're all over the US and Canada, opening in October, first week in October. So we've got this limited theatrical digital, crazy. So we're getting a lot of attention for that. Robbie Bryan, who's my director of Eye Murders, we did a film called Choose, which I have a supporting role in. Choose is a dark drama about cancer, and it's very heavy, but it has gotten into some of the biggest festivals. We just won the Platinum Remy at World Fest. They either just got back or getting back this week from Oldenburg. You guys know the festival, which is like the Sundance of Germany. So nice. Yeah, so that was really an honor. So Choose is showing at all the mainstream festivals, so we're supporting that. And I'm like rambling. And then definitely shouting out to Dread Central Horror Starlets team, Bowling for Boobies, you guys. My team, I'm the co-captain. Sean Decker rocks. He's my captain. This is like 4 years in the making, and we've got a killer team. We've got Serena Vincent from Cabin Fever, Allison Kyler from Laid to Rest 2. We've got Gabby West from Saw 3D and Scream Queens. We've got Sarah Butler, I Spit on Your Grave, Ashley Yenny, Human Centipede, you guys. We've got 1 and 2, of course. We've got Carly Baker from Wicked Lake. We've got, and The Women. We've got, or The Woman it's called, coming out. We've got Jackie Bell, beautiful effects artist, myself. So we've got such a sick team this year. So we are gearing it up. And October 23rd here at Universal, we've got our big Bowling for Boobies for Breast Cancer bowling event for charity. And we shout out to that. So we're promoting. We've got a signing at Dark Delicacies, the famous horror bookshop, Lovey Dell and Sue, this next Friday coming up. So I'll be going to that, then right to Shriek Fest. I don't even know. I know I'm probably forgetting a ton of things, but there's so much going on, my head's spinning.
So you're a little bit busy then.
Crazy. Truly, through second week in November, I don't stop. And this is how it is every year. I've been on the red carpet at the Spike TV Scream Awards every year. I was a presenter at the Reaper Awards last year. Like, there's something constantly. So it's all good. We got a bunch of, I'll go to Scream Fest. I mean, we got a ton of stuff coming up.
Do you ever find time to rest? I mean, you must need it now and again, even if it's just half an hour here and there.
I wish. I do, because stress is definitely affecting my health over the last few years. So now I make sure that I take some time. Try to take 1 day, and even if it's half a day, do nothing. But it really never stops, and it's stressful and it's frustrating, and my friends get annoyed, and I'm always dialed in, whether it's internet, whether it's the BlackBerry. Half the time when I'm tweeting, obviously I'm on the road or in between meetings or press events, and I'm always tweeting from there, and it's a lot. But I'm very lucky. I have wonderful family and friends. I could not do this without them. I would have lost my mind long ago. And so, yeah, I try to spend quality time with friends, and, I take time. I love to sit outside and have brunch. So I try to have brunch and relax with friends and then go work the rest of the day. I feel like I'm always working.
Do you find it hard to relax, or have you gotten used to it a little bit the more you do it?
I am so not a relaxer. I'm a type A personality. I am on the go, 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 go. Even when I'm sitting, my mind is always racing and going, and that's not a great quality. And everybody's like, you need yoga, you need meditation. I meditate sometimes, but it's not me. It's not my personality. I'm always, at the gym or on the treadmill or, like going. It's just me. I'm not a relaxer. I'm type A. I admit it.
Because I find it very, very hard to sit down and relax as well. I have to often just sort of say, sit down, don't move, read a book.
Yeah, reading's good. I like to read. That's the one thing that does take me out of my mind.
What sort of books do you read?
Metaphysical, a lot, because again, I'm always trying to balance. I'm trying to get that balance, because I'm working so much that I try not to read, I'm oftentimes reading tons of scripts and producer books and stuff, but I really try to separate that sometimes. And very into right now, I'm reading Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Again, I read that once a year. Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. I've just read that again. I read that once a year. Like I said, Ask and It Is Given, Wayne Dyer, The Secret, because I try to, I get so stressed and consumed and try to control my career and, get so down sometimes when things don't happen the way I want them to, and I'm fighting and putting so much out there. And then it's like, I need to get a little zen, and reading these books reminds me that, it's not always going to be on our time. It's when whatever higher power you believe in, God, the universe, whatever, it's when you're supposed to, when it's supposed to happen, it will. If sometimes too, and this is a big theme in my Vamp It Out movie, is things don't always turn out the way we plan. Things don't always look exactly as we envision our life to look. But sometimes it works out and turns out even better.
Yeah. Was it they say life is something that happens while you're busy making plans?
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
So as we sort of wind this up, because I think we've reached the 50 minutes that you were free for us, which is brilliant. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out that you've missed, or anything that you announced?
I'd just shout out real quickly a couple of things. I think I covered everything pretty much with the movies, but definitely you guys, listeners, all the horror fans, definitely check out Dahmer versus Gacy. Just came out in May on DVD. At the Sinatra Club, or The Sinatra Club, is a film I'm very proud of that I act in and am one of the producers on, and it's a mobster drama with a little twinge of comedy. Check that out. It's all over on demand. I'm trying to think what else is out or coming out.
I've been working my way through some of your back catalogue, like Slime City Massacre. I've seen very, very strange film. Very, very strange.
Which is the follow-up to the cult classic Slime City from 1988. So if you're into that, you're into that. If you what I liked about that script was the subtext. There's a lot going on, and if you really can read into it, there's some really smart stuff. Greg's a really smart writer. So all that good stuff. I'm just trying to think what else is going on that I need to pitch. Definitely please follow me on Twitter, Brooke Lewis LA, and I have the girls made me a Facebook fan page, and it's the official Brooke Lewis fan page on Facebook. And check out brookelewis.com and MsVampy.net. Most importantly, and Stuart, thank you so much for supporting and really spending time talking about Ms. Vampy. MsVampy.net, Ms. Vampy's Tween Talk, Teen Talk, and In Between Talk. Please check it out. Check out the teaser on YouTube. Make positive comments, please, positive. And check it out. Pass it around. Show your friends. Get it out to young people. It's really important and relevant.
Definitely. It just hooked me today when I was sitting watching it. I thought, this is what I want to talk to you about.
I'm so glad.
Very impressed.
See, and you're a guy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not just girls that have issues. Guys have them too. As Annette will probably testify. I'm always having a win.
Many.
Moaning groan.
Many.
But what I don't tend to do is I don't tend to open up and talk about them, now do I?
Well, that's the difference. Men tend to bottle things up more, and women are very, much more expressive by nature. But this is so. But I have to say, Stuart, when Annette does make these comments, she's hilariously funny.
She is.
She's very witty. She's blushing.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Annette, you have such a cute voice. You should do voiceovers. Well, we got here, and I'm so glad. And I can't thank you guys enough for having me and spending time with me today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. How was your first podcast, Annette?
We're breaking up a little bit, so I'm hard to hear you, Stuart, but I've enjoyed it.
Well, Annette, I think you did a lovely job.
Thank you.
Certainly did.
And I will support you and coach you to vamp it out any day. But thank you guys. Thank you to all your listeners. And I just, again, appreciate your time so much. And I love you guys. You're awesome.